And we're good. We're good. All right. Welcome to the Monkey Bar. This is episode 81, and you can probably tell what we're going to talk about because I made a thumbnail specifically for the subject as opposed to the last one where I just sort of sketched out something at the last second and we just talked about stuff at the last second. But this time we actually have a concrete subject because it's a project by some of our good friends, Mark Pellegrini and Tim Lim. They're collecting all their Walmart stories into one omnibus, and right now it's on Indiegogo. I'm gonna type this out in a banner real quick because just realized I forgot to do that. So yeah, go check that out. Walmart, for those uninitiated. Zach, you want to try giving a shot at describing this?
Yeah, Walmart is basically, how would I? It's political humor, but doesn't suck.
Mm-hmm.
Basic, I would describe, take Donald Trump, take the likable aspects, make them more likable.
Or more absurd.
More absurd, that's the word, absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not particularly on top game today.
Yeah, I'll try to be on the game for both of us.
I will say, it's got good art.
Yeah, it's got really good art. Tim Lim is a great artist.
Like Tim Lim the art is great because you can recognize the person, you can recognize what they're the satire, what they're parodying. Sharp and clean. I am trying to think of more words to describe it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We've gone over this a lot, like with when we had Tim Lim and Mark Pellegrini on as guests in episode 75. I think it was a round number. I'm probably completely wrong. It might not have even been that long ago. Let me check real quick. It was episode 76, so I was almost correct. But yeah, I think they did a really good job at summing up what makes this series so great. That it's like, and then I think Mark made a good point about how no one else seems to be doing this type of parody right now with our current presidents. How it definitely is a refreshing take, a very non-mean spirited take. That's it's refreshing, I think.
I'll be honest, I don't like Trump, but I like Walmart.
Mm-hmm. And and I'm neither for or against him, and I also really like Walmart. But yeah, it's this omnibus collects. Let me see. I had it up just a minute ago, but it's it collects a number of different stories. It collects My Hero Macadamia, so the first one, and second part 2, and then part 3, The Magalorian, which you were asking me, is the the Magalorian character a new character, or is it Walmart in the armor? And I wasn't sure how to answer that, so I'll have to ask either Tim or Mark later. Maybe they mention it somewhere. It also includes Walmart's side story GOP Lynn Slayer.
Oh, Goblin Slayer.
Yeah. So it's in total it's 110 pages, and yeah, I'm really excited. I already backed this book. I got the tier that I got 2 books for the price of 1.5, or $6 off. So that's free shipping, and the tier is actually called Another Brick in the Wall. So that's one for me. That. So that's one for me, and one to hopefully donate to the Oberlin Library.
Oh, they fucking burned that book, Tony.
Yeah, but I think that now I'll have to check because I checked Common America. That didn't have a ISBN number on it. I don't know if that's online, or if because it's self-published, if it doesn't have an ISBN number, and that probably means that you can't like donate it to a library. But it'd be neat to just like put that on the shelf of the Oberlin Library.
Oh my god!
It's like, what are you gonna turn away a free book? I just picture them like just grimacing as they take it from me.
I do have to admit, though, as much as I like the Mandalorian, I kind of prefer the arts. I know it's basically the same style, but I kind of prefer Captain America's design.
Uh-huh.
I think it.
Yeah, Captain America actually is a like that. Her first appearance is actually in Wall Might Part 2.
Oh, I did not know that.
She appears as the superhero in Warhen, who later rebrands herself as Captain America. So like, there's this whole superhero universe that they're slowly building.
I wanted to do something similar when I wrote my when I was writing Orca, where I'd introduce the character Orca, then you'd find out about the then named Deplorables, and basically it would just be this like the whole universe of D-tier supervillains and one or two B-list hero.
Right. But I really like this book, like the idea of a 110-page book, because I was thinking about this with Common America. Common America is like around 50 pages, and for like a physical book, I think it's best when you have like a big, thick book that's like at least 100 pages, because if you're putting it on your bookshelf, you want something that stands out, where it's like, oh, I want to read this, and it's like, I'll just go to my bookshelf. And if it's like under 100 pages even, then it's kind of a scavenger hunt to try and find it, or it's hard to find it at first. But with 100 pages, it's more like a real book, so you can find it more easily.
Yeah,
it's sturdier. So that's what I like about Doug TeNaples' books, is that whenever he does his crowdfunding, he always springs for the hardback with the gold, what do you call it, like the gold engravings and all that, like all the fancy stuff. And normally,
aren't they called like coffee books?
Not a coffee table book, or maybe it is, but like the I think that the library categorizes it as under oversized. That's like, at least for the the Venture Brothers book, that was that's like a really big book that's hardcover. So it's an art book, so it's classified as an oversized book. I don't know if that's like a technical term though, but or if it's, or coffee table is a different category. Whatever, it's a big fucking book.
All I can hear is like a BFB and hear the Doom theme in my head.
BFB 9000. But yeah, like at first when I was looking at like Doug's books, when it comes to that and comparing it to like the books I have planned with my current big project, it's like I think about shonen style books where you have like like the volumes are in like the double digits, or if for the really long running ones, like triple digits. One Piece might, I don't know if that's going to be crossover into the quadruple digits. Probably not. But the point is, for when it comes to like big, thick, like the hardcover books, I don't see myself, if I ever print like the biggest project I have in mind. If I end up printing those, I don't see myself doing a hardcover series. Again, it's like, we'll see kind of thing.
If I had to make a hardcover for my kaiju comic, I would like to make it so it looks kind of like an old-fashioned like monster movie collection. They'd look like posters. Is how to do the covers.
Oh yeah, like the old box sets. That, like, the first thing I think of is the box set for Gurren Lagann, and how it's like this cardboard thing that actually is like shaped like the Gurren mech, and so when you open it up, like the mouth opens up.
Oh my god. Yeah. I don't even like Gurren Lagann, and I kind of want that. That's awesome.
Gurren Lagann.
No, I need to rephrase that. I have never finished Gurren Lagann.
Okay.
But a friend of mine, Marcus, spoiled the entire thing for me.
How dare you not like a thing that I like? This podcast is over.
It's canceled.
Yeah, I'm canceling it.
The monkey in the middle is gonna kill me now.
Well, that's how this series is gonna end. He just kills both of us.
No, you have to do the scene from Final Fantasy, like one of those attacks, but just put the monkey's head over the character, like Sephiroth. Doesn't Sephiroth have an attack where he like shoots through like all the planets?
Probably.
I remember seeing something like that in a Flash game that was taken from Final Fantasy. Mm-hmm. But I'm just picturing like the monkey doing a fatality.
Yeah, like have you played that remake yet?
I have not. I am not the biggest Final Fantasy fan.
Right.
I kind of like the older ones better when I did play them.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to play the original first before I bother with the remake, which I hear is the way to go. I think I've already had the remake spoiled for me anyway. Not like through my own volition. It wasn't an accidental thing. So yeah, but yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but yeah, I mean, watch the video I did about Kingdom Hearts, that episode that we did, and you'll probably gauge my reaction to the later half of Final Fantasy VII remake.
Ooh, I remember how you felt about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that as bad as Kingdom Hearts 3. Again, I haven't played it myself, and I haven't seen the whole gameplay, so I don't have the full context for myself. But it's definitely put me off, or it's definitely made me consider waiting for the PS5 to come out to bother with that.
I was thinking about you're talking about box set stuff. Mm-hmm. How I would do the Smokes box set, or just the complete book, I would have the book look like it's been buried in a hole or something like that. Mm. Yeah.
Actually,
what?
Or that would be like the DVD set of Richard Kelly's polls.
Richard Kelly's Holes is kind of just Smokes' backstory.
Yeah, I still get comments on that episode that we did. It actually is the only episode, the only video on YouTube that openly talks about the Richard Kelly screenplay of Holes. Yeah, I double checked, and that is true. So it kind of makes me want to do a more formal retrospective or analysis of the screenplay. But I kind of want to leave that for somebody who's more experienced with video essays, video editing than me.
I just remember how Holes is a movie makes me feel warm and happy inside. But I just want to picture me at Spectrum with the class watching Holes done by Richard Kelly. Mm-hmm. And and I just want to hear my kid self going, "What the fuck?"
But yeah, Walmart, gold standard. Go check it out. Go back it. There's I think that I'm optimistic. Mark and Tim, they make me optimistic for the future of comics, which is more than I can say of any independent comic funded on Indiegogo or Kickstarter or even self-funded that I've heard of in the last couple of years. Yeah, I highly recommend checking them out, no matter your political affiliation.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know if Tim Lim does the coloring for his comics?
Yes, he does.
Oh, damn, is he talented? Mm-hmm. I mean, I already knew he's talented, but it only cements it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at first because I know that he got a colorist to do the cover of Common America, but I'm pretty sure that he does all the art.
That's what made me ask.
Yeah, the sketching, the line art, and the coloring. Those are all him. He's definitely a big inspiration right now for me, trying to do my own comic.
I agree. I've been trying to get work on writing. I've been trying to quit plotting, start writing,
Mm-hmm. And it does make me a little bit nervous to bring up when I'm working on, because I always think about people who promise on comics who are oh, this will be out by the end of the year, blah blah blah. But for me, I think that's the sort of consolation. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm not it's not like I've already done a Kickstarter for this comic that I'm still working on. I want to follow the example of Tim and Mark and Doug, and actually have it at least 90% finished before I ask for money. And even then, it's I think that I would only do that if I was actually doing physical prints, which right now I don't really see a need to do that at the moment. Maybe that'll change. Again, this comic, it's only in the beginning stages of production. If we're talking about this is right at the tail end of pre-production. So right now I'm in production. I'm sort of in the film mindset, because I'm also putting some of my other resources into a little YouTube film or whatever, like a little 8-minute thing. Hopefully that'll work out. That's not my main priority at the moment, because it just doesn't seem feasible right now. The closer I get to it, as it turns out, it's very hard to get people out of their homes right now. I'm not sure why.
I think it could be the heat.
Yeah. Well, I heard that the heat is a good thing for other things. Whatever.
I have a feeling we saw the same skit.
Yeah. The joke is the thing that gets us demonetized off of YouTube, which we're not making videos off of these videos anyway. So, but I don't really want to risk getting this video deleted for talking about the coronavirus. Oops. Yeah. For the sake of shilling for Tim Lim, I want to leave this video up.
Yeah. Tim Lim, Mark Pellegrini, you guys are awesome.
I agree.
By the way, I keep commenting on Mark's posts, not on purpose. He'll post an opinion Predator 2 is a good Predator movie. I'm like, oh shit, man, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's
he has a lot of good deep cuts on kaiju, from to my knowledge. I mean, they're probably pedestrian for you.
No, I wouldn't say any deep cut on kaiju's pedestrian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe you should gatekeep any interest or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I am excited about a movie coming out called Giant Mammoth Rat. No, what's it called? Basically, the giant turtle Gamera.
Yeah.
But basically, Gamera almost wasn't going to be a turtle. Mm-hmm. Originally, he was going to be a rat. Called Mizura. Mm-hmm. And they're actually making that movie now. It's apparently a good year for kaiju, because there's 3 giant monster movies coming out in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have they done a documentary on the making of kaiju movies?
Not to my full knowledge. I would kill to see one on Godzilla 54. There's a couple books out, but they're usually in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. You know what my dream film would be like that? I would like to see a disaster artist style film about Godzilla versus Hedorah. It's the one where Godzilla flies.
You see, like, if there's going to be a disaster artist movie made about the making of any kaiju film, I would pick the 1970s King Kong movie.
Oh God, you have better taste than I.
Yeah, which we actually did a video. That was our third episode of the podcast, if I remember correctly.
Ancient times before we had to leave, before we had to hide in the cellar.
Yeah. And once this is the quarantine lifted?
Or... I don't think it's completely lifted.
Okay. Because when I think of like by quarantine, I mean like the state being like the borders of the state being locked down or whatever. Because I don't think that like there's ever been I don't think that, to my knowledge, because like I go out all the time. There's no there's no armed guards outside my apartment forcing me to stay in.
That's good. You know what I was thinking about recently, speaking of armed guards, and this is totally off topic? I was thinking about RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
You know that big fucking robot, the what's his name?
Ed 209.
Ed 209.
Mm-hmm.
That's a police robot.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see that robot handle something like a domestic violence call. Please step away from your wife. Yeah. And then it just machine guns the apartment down.
Uh-huh. Well, that's like it only machine gunned the apartment down because it couldn't make it up to the second floor.
You'd be scary. Ed 209, but it has like one of those stair lifts.
I have like the little grandma chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of have a joke when we're doing a Smoke Sonic where Gremlin has a grandma chair. And then after the fight, Smokes to use it down the platform.
I saw that it made me think of like a Saints Row the Third remastered came out recently. I think yesterday or today. But it was only, I think it's exclusive to the Epic Games Store, so nobody really cares.
Yeah, I have a friend who's in my D&D group who actually works for the Epic Games company. He's one of our marketing guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and I mentioned, and this is real. I'm not bullshitting. I go like, hey, I'm waiting for, hey, do you play this game? No, I'm waiting for it to come on sale on Steam. And then he kind of creeps in and says, maybe you should use Epic. And I go, a fucking no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and plus it's not Saints Row 2, so like even less people care than if it was. Like I actually kind of prefer. Like this is probably gonna get me a lot of down or like a lot of people outside my apartment protesting, but I actually kind of prefer Saints Row 3 over Saints Row 2.
Which one had the purple background or in the cover? Where like it's the one.
I think.
Yeah. Fourth one of Aliens, right?
Yeah.
The only one I played is Saints Row 3, and I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Like I would like though. I think they are working on it. A remaster remake of. I think it is just a remaster of Saints Row 2 because the PC port is so fucking broken right now. I think they were talking about at least doing a fix for that, the Steam version of Saints Row 2, because like the first level, like it's like it runs at like 10 frames a second, and I think there's a way to mod your way around it, but I just haven't bothered. But yeah, I would like to see that with updated graphics. It sort of was made during that period of time where all games just look shitty, and like the console manufacturer, like companies knew they could get away with it because it was the start of the new console generation. You notice that in a lot of games where it's like a lot of brown and gray textures. All these studios now having the technology to move away from the more cartoony graphics that they were stuck with on the PS2 and Xbox. So you had, Infamous, like replacing Sly Cooper, and like with the first Infamous game, they had to make it look all. And I again, this is me like railing into the Infamous series again, but I'm going to do it anyway because again, it's. I hate how Infamous looks. I hate that they just. I wish that they had. I hope that they eventually do get around to remastering or even just doing a straight up remake of it, uh, to make it look better and make it feel better.
You know what would be cool?
Mm-hmm.
A remake that combines the first two games.
Oh, yeah, that would be neat. Uh, you know what? I would actually. I was thinking about this a couple of days ago, but I would go like a lot further with remaking it than would probably like a lot of fans would probably hate me for like saying oh yeah, just replace Cole McGrath's model with the one that they were going to replace him with in Infamous 2. The the one I'm talking about. I showed you it. Right?
No, I don't think so, but I'm also senile.
That was the black T-shirt Cole with the spiky hair.
No, I don't remember this.
Okay, I know I showed you this like on one of the episodes. Like,
I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Yeah, Infamous 2 Cole redesign.
Cole McGrath is awesome.
Yeah, well, like one of the telling things though is that he had such a terrible design, because I remember when the redesign for Infamous 2 came out, people were saying, "Oh, this would look better if it was Cole's son," and it's like the thing about that is that Cole is actually 25. But he's voiced.
He looks like a plumber.
Yeah, he's voiced by like 45-year-old heavy smoker in the first game. They sort of fixed it a little bit they replaced his voice actor in Infamous 2 that sort of made him sound younger, but he still has that sort of like 38-year-old plumber voice, and he has like the bald head. He looks like Jason Statham. It's like so off-putting. It's just like if you want to. I really don't know what the hell they were going for with like making him look and sound and feel like that.
I actually think it would be kind of cool if they made him old, but all the villains were young. Like he's an old man who gets a power, but all the young guys.
Yeah. But yeah, I would like. That's why I liked Delzin in Infamous Second Son so much better. It's just that he felt like more like what the developers were going for in the first two games.
Well, I disagree with your opinion.
Ah.
I actually am neutral on Delsin. Mm-hmm. I'm just so fond of Cole McGrath.
Yeah. Well, I think that he had probably more thought put into his character arc. That's one thing I'll give him credit for. I really liked the ending of Infamous 1. I think that it has like one of the most memorable boss fights from that era, though that's not saying much considering I can't really think of a lot of memorable boss fights from the 360 PS3 era.
So you mean in general, just no good boss fights?
Yeah.
I believe you just overstepped all of Metal Gear Rising.
Okay, yeah, that counts. Yeah.
I also count Metal Gear 4. The story, I unironically like Metal Gear. I love how bad and cheesy the plot is. But I love the final fight where you go through all the series themes and songs and styles.
There's definitely a lot of fan service in Metal Gear Solid 4, and I think that can be off-putting to some people, but other people it's kind of endearing.
I like a little fan service now and again.
Yeah.
A teaspoon of fan service helps the Metal Gear 5 go down.
Mm-hmm. Another thing they could fix in like a hypothetical Infamous 1 and 2 remake would be, fixing the ending of endings of Infamous 2, just like sort of to bridge the gap between Infamous 2 and Second Son.
I liked I don't know if I said that, the theory that he accidentally became like another bomb that gave him his power and they didn't know.
Mm-hmm. I also like, and this is really something that can't be fixed, but I always thought like the world of Infamous was just really overly bleak.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Like the tone is just so like, miserable and hopeless that even by the end of Infamous 2, it's just kind of a slap in the face. Like, oh, you saved the world, but you killed all the superheroes. It's like, oh, fuck you then. Which I actually heard from some people that the evil ending to Infamous 2 is better than the good ending, which I would like. Yeah, I would like to go back and revisit Infamous 2 just for that.
Oh, I like Zeke though. I hate to be that guy. Don't kill Zeke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be neat if they could tighten up the writing of some of the characters in this if they remastered it. Like this is as far as I'm going with like my idea of a revision is just, and I know that this is sort of contradictory considering what I was saying about Final Fantasy VII remake, but yeah, for me it's like, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is not exactly broke, but you have like a loose wheel, and you should tighten it.
I agree. You know, you hit the nail on the head there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what game I would like to do a heavy remaster of? If there's a not a remaster, you know a game that's almost perfect, it hurts? Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Are you familiar with it?
I think you've mentioned it before. Is it what is it?
It's the Mortal. Oh shit! Sorry, hold on. I just saw a clip. It's a Mortal Kombat beat 'em up.
Right, that one.
And there was going to be a sequel called Mortal Kombat Fire and Ice. And I assume that like a lot of it was so close to being perfect in a lot of areas. The issue kind of was it fell to the trap. Every Mortal Kombat game is a remake of 1, 2, or 3. And it's all of those. I like your ideas for how you'd redo Infamous, though.
Yeah. It's one of those dream projects or remasters that will probably never actually come to fruition, but I'm hoping that Sucker Punch decides to do something with Infamous after Ghost of Tsushima.
I thought for a minute you said Naughty Dog, and I went, oh my god, they belong to Naughty Dog. No. And I had a moment of literal panic.
Now, sometimes I confuse, sometimes I catch myself thinking, was Infamous made by Insomniac? No. But yeah, they're not I know that they released a gameplay of Ghosts of Tsushima like a week ago. I personally thought it looked boring as hell, but I didn't watch the whole thing, so I think that they show some combat in it. It was mostly just the player character riding around the horse. It is interesting in that you don't have an overworld map. You have to follow the wind towards your objective. So it's kind of you got Wind Waker style wind graphics that blow towards the next mission that you mark in your journal. So I think that's an interesting idea. It'll be neat to. I'm still waiting to see how it will work play wise.
Speaking of games, could I mention my video game project?
Yeah.
I'm learning how to code. Well, I'm trying to make the game. I'm trying to write the complete game design document first, make most of the assets. I want to make a game where the concept is you're in a family that makes Edgar Allan Poe go, oh shit, man, I thought my life was bad. And
I'm sorry. What code are you using?
I am not sure yet. I am most likely probably going to be trying Unity.
Okay. Well, in terms of languages, I think Python is most associated with games, especially Unity.
I don't know anything yet. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, I probably only know a little bit more than you do on that. I've thought about doing games too. I've been learning Blender actually, learning 3D modeling.
I'm working on making portraits. Can I send you some on Discord? Maybe you could pop them up on the screen.
Sure.
No, I'm gonna just show the ones. My idea behind the sort of game is oh, sorry, I saw a message that I never sent you. Is that you have your family. You gotta keep your family alive. Also, there's weird shit. But I had to fight even the presentation is that you aren't actually playing the character that the narrative is happening to. You're playing their daughter or their son or something. It would be slightly procedurally generated how the house is laid out, what family members are currently alive, stuff like that. And my idea is when you talk to someone, there's a picture of them when they are alive, but to represent them when they aren't, here's one more picture. And there will be a painting to show them in like the family collection. That is Uncle Ihor, I believe it's pronounced Ihor. There is him when he is much older. I apologize for different sizes. Yeah, they're from the painter side. And trying to learn how to use the AI assisted art tool so that, it looks a tiny bit good. And I'm done ranting. Sorry, Tony. Okay. If I do a commercial release, I will be trying to get, more professional art.
Yeah. What else? Oh yeah, I saw YMS uploaded his 2.5-hour video on Kimba the White Lion.
I always wanted to see Kimba.
Looks like he goes into a lot of depth. I only watched so far. I've watched the first 30 minutes, and he's just going into how a lot of these clickbait sites like Screen Rant and all these people who want to cash in on controversy, saying, "Oh, Disney ripped off Kimba the White Lion." This shows clips of the movie. And it's oh, this was from 1965 and blah, blah, blah. But it turns out the clips that they were using were actually from the 97 Kimba the White Lion movie that came out 3 years after The Lion King. So it was actually that movie that ripped off Lion King. And I think the argument is that, it's pretty unmistakable that Disney Disney animators at the time did watch, or they at least were familiar with Kimba the White Lion as a concept when they were working on Lion King, but they didn't rip off as much as these clickbait sites claim.
Yeah, they're clickbait.
Yeah, they want to just farm views, controversy, all that stuff. And fake news is to pull a quote from Walmart.
If there had to be a voice for Walmart, I imagine him being less Trump and more like Steve Blum screaming.
I liked. I think that Psychic Pebbles, his impression of Trump, I could see that for Walmart. I don't know.
Let's see.
But yeah, I was watching that review of Kimba that made me think of going back through Osamu Tezuka's catalog. I remember earlier this year I read Apollo's Song for the first time. That was pretty good.
How'd you like it?
Yeah, it was all right. It sort of framed like a Greek tragedy where it's you have this kid who's just this total dickhead who was abused by his parents, and so he just hates anything having to do with love or people in love. And he just kills animals that are in love with each other or whatever, and then he gets cursed by an ancient spirit to every time he's reincarnated he dies tragically just before he can when he falls in love with a woman he dies tragically, and it's becomes this endless cycle, I guess. And there is no resolution for that. He just sort of ends up doomed to this endless cycle. And yeah, like I said, it's a tragedy. So for me, it was I don't like this. But I guess the more distance I put between myself and it, I appreciate it more.
I always kind of like some tragedies. A little tragedy can be interesting.
I like the opening prologue where it's like this army of 100 million guys who are like fighting to like to be the one to copulate with this goddess, and they're all like anthropomorphized sperm, and they're all like fighting to get to the egg.
For some people, that's the only running they do in their life.
Yeah, and I remember there was actually a part in the In Call, Jodorowsky and Mobius, their graphic novel, where like pretty much the same thing happens. It's not like a literal like visual thing though, but I mean it is like the same concept of like a million guys like fighting each other up this pyramid to like copulate with the this like icon of like goddess to basically create a new species on this planet. And like there's this one image where it's like it shows like a zoomed out view of this pyramid where there's this like huge streaks of blood trailing down there as they're all like fighting their way up there. That was always like a cool visual. I mean, like the In Call is full of like really cool visuals. I highly recommend that book.
I'm trying to remember her name. The creator of King of a White Lion created Astro Boy, right?
Yeah, it's Tezuka. Yeah,
Tezuka. I'm trying to think. Did he create Gigantor? I am trying to remember off the top of my head.
I don't know.
I don't think so, but I'm going to check anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. G. He did not create Gigantor.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of like the earliest Japanese manga artists. Like a lot of their stories like are really bleak. You look at Go Nagai also. Like you see the end of Devilman, and it's like that's probably like one of the bleakest endings in any manga.
You know what? I kind of like a bleak ending once in a while if it's deserved. You know,
like the ending of Devilman is so bleak that when they adapted it for Devilman Crybaby for Netflix, and they actually had to add like a little scene at the end where it's like, you know, spoilers. You know, all life on Earth is dead, but there's a little bit of hope maybe that things are going to be reborn. But Devilman is just like, nope, everybody's dead. God just like fucking nukes the entire Earth. Fuck you.
I had this idea of how I would do like a bleak ending, where it'd be like the world's destroyed, and you see like the last person, and you know they go, and you go, there can still be life, and then an asteroid hits the planet and blows it up. Just perfect comedic time, an asteroid.
What else? Oh yeah, like going off of Devilman. Of course, that just makes you think about the end of Evangelion.
Eva's not that much a bleak ending because they, you know, despite everyone being liquefied, they can come back if they want to.
Yeah, that didn't come across to me the first time I watched it, but after I sort of like read more like background to it, then I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It sort of made me think of because like I'm probably one of the only people I know who's actually read chunks of the Bible. You know that book? You ever heard of it?
The Bible. Yeah, one time I used it to swat a big spider.
Yeah, but like they're like the part with I remember asking like a priest or like minister or whatever, they were like about Adam and Eve, where it's like when they had kids, their kids have kids with each other, like siblings, but like apparently it's sort of put in perspective of more people just sort of spontaneously emerged on Earth. So that's sort of like what I figured happens with End of Eva, is that Shinji and Asuka are Adam and Eve, and that the people that sort of spontaneously emerge aren't like they don't have to do all the work in, you know, getting busy with, you know, repopulating the Earth or whatever.
I love the mental image of Shinji and Asuka getting it on and just like fucking Pen walks in. Or no, it has to be like someone that like Shinji doesn't really like. Like, oh, I didn't realize you guys were alive and still lived here.
Still like this one fan art where it's Shinji and Asuka as Al Bundy and Peg, and it's like from Married with Children.
No, I have to look that up and cry a little on the inside.
Shinji, let's have sex. No, Asuka.
Okay, I don't find immediately on Google. I can sleep easy now.
Okay.
I don't like Married with Children.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like I don't think I've ever watched a full episode of it, but
no, you know what show I can't stand? Last Man Standing. I fucking hate that show.
Huh? What's that? I haven't heard of that one.
It's the Tim Allen sitcom.
Okay.
It's Toll Time, but not fun. Not Toll Time. It's Home Improvement, but not funny.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I actually watched a documentary on what's his name? The guy who played Ernest.
Varney.
Yeah, Jim Varney. It was pretty interesting because I don't know, like I don't think I've ever watched any of the Ernest movies, but like of course I'm familiar with Ernest. Like apparently there was like a huge chunk of the '90s that where he was like big, and I like how like the video I was watching. I can't remember the name of the channel off the top of my head, so I'll have to link it later. But like the title was like Jim Varney, the original viral star, because like he got to start being the playing the Ernest character in commercials that would air like on his local station, and eventually it just became a sensation that swept the nation. And he got his own movie playing that character, and eventually got parts. I didn't realize he played the dad in the or Paw in the Beverly Hillbillies movie.
In the what?
The Beverly Hillbillies movie. He was the guy who played Paw.
I can see that in hindsight now.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, of course, it's not recognizable because, everybody knew him from as Ernest, who, like, where you would have, like, all the goofy facial expressions. But he played a relatively straight character in that movie. So, it'd be understandable to overlook that. But yeah, that one channel, I'm going to look it up real quick because I really like their content. It's hard to find which one because it's Hats Off Entertainment is the name of the channel. Because they also did a documentary on Leslie Nielsen. Any
particular reason why for Leslie Nielsen?
The title of the video was A Serious Talent. So it was like documenting how he got his start as like playing this like straight characters in Forbidden Planet, like 50s movies where he played relatively serious roles. But then when he was cast for Airplane, because he played those serious roles, and he just knocked it out of the park because he was so like straight faced when delivering these like really absurd lines.
Have you ever seen Pink Panther?
Yeah.
That was the only Leslie Nielsen movie comedy I remember him from besides Airplane.
He wasn't in the Pink Panther movies.
He wasn't?
That was Peter Sellers.
I am a retard. I want you to know that, Tony.
I mean, it's kind of the same shtick where it's Peter Sellers plays like a straight-laced character in absurd situations.
Yeah. I like the idea,
Mm-hmm. What else can we talk about? Still got like 10 minutes to fill time. Unless you want to end early.
Your call. Want to talk about From Outer Space?
Oh yeah, the movie I'm working on. Yeah, I was very optimistic when starting, but like I said, things tend to fall apart when you don't have anybody on board to help you with your movie. I mean, I don't want to undersell like the help I've gotten so far from people from my old film group. They're like Ken specifically is trying his best to the best of my knowledge. He's trying to drum up interest, but like right now it seems like it's exhausting because right now I'm pretty much on my own. At least I'm hoping that once we meet up for our first film shoot, then I'll have a better idea of. I'll probably feel better about doing something like this. I did write like I think by now it's 15 pages of screenplay that maybe 2 pages will be used for the film shoots, and then we'll just make shit up as we go along. It might be completely different by the time we're done, but I'm determined to get something done at least.
When we can meet up again, mm-hmm. I hope that I can probably try. I know a couple people who would like to be in movies. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, they haven't died.
Yeah.
From inexplicable natural causes.
Yeah. Like I was hoping to have, someone who like is at least competent with like martial arts choreography, because I wanted to make something like Sock Baby. I had specifically written fight scenes in there, and I was hoping to like have somebody available to do that with. That might have to be put on hold for a little bit, like unless I can find the right person for the job. Yeah, I'm exhausted just thinking about it, but yeah, it's yeah.
It sounds like it could possibly be done.
Yeah. It'll definitely be a lot different than what I've got envisioned right now, but like with film, it's like you gotta just suck it up and get it done.
I was trying to think about something here. Do you think Gothic and cosmic horror can exist in the same setting? Or do you think one cancels out the other?
Do I think what cosmic horror?
Sorry.
Like what in cosmic horror?
Gothic and cosmic.
Well, it seems like they go together pretty well, though. Like, that's pretty much every H.P. Lovecraft story. Aren't those all Gothic?
I think so. I wish some genres were a little less nebula at times, or less nebulous.
Mm-hmm. Because I think, like, sci-fi and cosmic horror those go together well, too. I don't know. I can't really think of a genre that goes together poorly with cosmic horror.
Wow, I honestly can't.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe superhero?
Well, Gotham by Gaslight.
Right.
Hellboy to an extent.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Let's see, hold on. I can't think of one.
Huh. Yeah, if you in the chat watching us know of anything that's like the genre clashes with cosmic horror, leave it in a comment or whatever. I can feel my brain just falling out of my skull right now. I think that we might have to end this a little bit early.
Okay.
One last note, just going to say again, go back Walmart Gold Standard. Buy a book, buy 2, buy the one that Tim autographed himself, and or like whatever, just give these guys money so they keep making comic books. I'll say the exact same thing for myself once I have a comic book ready to sell and ship, or whatever. You probably have the same sentiment as well, Zach.
I do. You were a little robo voice, but I heard you basically say what I hope to agree with.
Mm-hmm. Well, on that note, I have been Tony.
I've been Zach.
And this has been the Monkey Bar.